Hey everyone, Rob from Southgate Media Group here. Before we get started with this podcast, we have a quick message. If this is your first time checking out the show, we love that you found us and we really hope you enjoy it. What we have to say is for the subscribers. If you enjoy our shows, would you please donate to help keep these going? We don't want to have to put traditional ads on these shows, but this does cost money. So we really do rely heavily on donations. To make a donation to the show, please go to our website, www.southgatemediagroup.com. Go to the page for the show, and in the upper right-hand corner is a donate button. It takes you right to PayPal, and you can donate whatever amount you want. Thanks a lot for listening, everybody. And now, on with the show.
Welcome to World's Finest, the DC Comics Review. With me, Phil, your Batman, and Tyler,
your Superman, here for the weekly time.
And, well, let's jump in for this week.
Alright, Phil, what'd you read this week?
Well, I guess I'll start with the bad. I read Justice League United number 10.
Okay.
This is the last issue, before Convergence. I think they're rebooting.
Honestly, I'm going to tell all the listeners out, when Convergence starts, it's going to be some very interesting discussions.
Oh yeah, wait till next week. Next month, nothing will be the same.
No, it won't. We'll talk about that as it comes.
But, I think this is the first one I'm ever going to give a 2.
Oh!
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I mean, the Legion was in it, and I don't know. There's something wrong with this story, because I've just been waiting for it to end.
I've never been a huge fan of the Legion of superheroes. I don't know. I always found them more annoying than anything.
Well, it's just like with this team, which is basically Justice League Canada and the Legion, there was just too many things going on in this story.
Okay.
And they were trying to bring in new heroes, and
I feel you. Try to bring in. I feel like my problem is some of the stories. I'm like, this is really good, and then it's like, but Convergence is going to end this story or change this. Kind of like next month's Supergirl is the last issue for a while.
Yeah, that was my other problem. It's like they had a bunch of Martian Manhunter, but it was like Supergirl's in it, but you really didn't get much of her. Green Arrow, didn't get much of him. Animal Man, not much of him. They were trying to bring in a new woman superhero, and you really didn't get much there. And then they dropped Legion in the last couple issues, and you got like character development on no one.
Huh.
Yeah.
It is one of the titles that's going to continue, but you heard it here, listeners. Phil gives it a 2.
And Jeff Lemire wrote it. I mean, I like Jeff Lemire.
Oh!
Yeah.
That's harsh, because I'll go on and on about how much I loved when Jeff Lemire took over Green Arrow.
Yeah, well, I dare you, when it comes out in trade paperback, I dare you to try to read it.
Read Justice League United. Challenge accepted.
I double dog dare you.
I'll do it. I'll try it.
Alright, well, we'll save the Bat books for last. So we will go with the Superman stuff. And, as always, this portion is brought to you by The Last Daughter of Krypton, the Supergirl podcast, hosted by Tyler Patrick himself.
Yes, sir.
And we'll start with Action Comics number 40. Once again, the last issue before Convergence.
Okay, yeah, this 40 is the final issue of everything, which some books are at and some aren't.
Yeah, depends on when they started, but, we get our first glimpse of Bizarro, I guess this version of Bizarro in the New 52, because Lex Luthor had a clone that was Bizarro, but now this is actually Bizarro from Bizarro World.
Okay, because I was going to say, his clone died during Forever Evil.
Yeah.
Protecting him, and it was, what was it? It was not Bizarro. Was it B? I don't remember. It was something with 0 at the end for, like, patient or whatever.
Yeah, it was something
the clone.
Something that was supposed to sound like Bizarro, but
and then he put it together to be like Bizarro, but Bizarro World.
I think they were trying to cram this storyline in because isn't there a Bizarro like miniseries coming after Convergence?
I think so. It's kind of one of those the two best. Like my wife asked me about where Bizarro came from, and I'm like, well, in some versions he's a failed clone, but in some he has his own planet. So I figured they decided to make both versions.
Yeah, I mean the issue was fine. I'll give it a 4, but I mean it just seems like they were trying to. Well, I give it a 4, but it just seems like they were trying to squeeze it in because the first page, Superman's just like falling through a warp, and then when he comes out on the second page, he comes out on Bizarro World.
Which is weird because they just finished up in Action Comics that whole like creepy horror like story. So
yes, the tone was quite different. Yes.
Because Action Comics is another one of those titles that's quote-unquote continuing after Convergence, so there could be a reason behind it. We don't know.
They just wanted to introduce Bizarro, I think.
They're like, hey, just throw him in an issue and then we'll retcon it later.
So, Superman meets the inhabitants of Bizarro World. The only one who thinks straight is Metallo because he has a computer brain.
Computer brain?
Well, yeah.
Is it a version of Brainiac or?
No, it's Metallo.
Oh, well, Metal Zero.
Yeah, but he calls himself Metallo.
I'm completely okay with that.
Yep. And then somehow, towards, I'll say halfway or closer towards the end of the issue, Doomsday pops out of a portal and infects Bizarro like he infected Superman in Action Comics a few months back.
Which was an amazing story, if anyone hasn't read it.
Yeah, but since Bizarro is the opposite, instead of causing Bizarro to destroy everything like Superman was doing, Bizarro like starts shooting beams and like it starts making like bunnies and flowers and stuff.
Okay, now that's worth reading. That right there, just to see Bizarro start creating everything, that's worth checking out right there. Talk about your backfires.
So basically, the end is Bizarro saving everyone from Doomsday, and then of course the last page. Don't miss the all-new Bizarro book in June.
Great.
So, like I said, I'll give it a 4, but it just seemed like a big advertisement.
Yeah. It's one of those things that I said before. So many of the storylines, I feel like because we know Convergence is coming, it's just like, do I care about this story? Is it going to pay off? Or is it just now filler till Convergence?
It just, I don't know. What do I want to say? It just seems like that DC's maybe trying a little too hard in some areas. I don't know.
We'll find out in June.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a fun June, fun summer. Yes.
All right. So the other book I have put in this section is World's Finest.
What? But it's not Superman and.
Well, it's Batman. It is Superman and Batman, but it's not us. It's the last. I know. It's the last issue. They should make a comic book of us, but.
Super podcasters.
It's World's Finest 32. It's the last issue. It's the final part of the history of the Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman of Earth 2.
Oh, okay. Which is
it leads
such an interesting
Yeah, the last couple issues, it's been a prequel to like it's a prequel to Earth 2. So
anyone who hasn't read Earth 2, here it is. It starts the first book. Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman disappear and are killed by Darkseid. Spoiler. and then a Batman and a Superman reappear later, but they're different people. I won't tell you what that is all about. That you can find out for yourself.
Yeah, so this is the last part, and it's basically Lois Lane has been telling their history of Batman and Superman, basically recording it so anyone finds it. And you will be like, well, didn't Lois Lane of Earth 2 die before Batman and Superman of Earth 2? And say yes, but her father, General Sam Lane, somehow saved like a copy of her brain and put it in the Red Tornado android.
Hey, that's a good dad.
So the Red Tornado of Earth 2 is Lois Lane.
Huh. See, I like Earth 2 in the sense that it gives them the freedom to do storylines that are bold and different.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to, I always liked the multiverse for the fact that you can have your connective canon going through the prime Earth, and then on an alternate Earth, like Earth 2, you can kind of get away with whatever because you're like, oh, this is Earth 2. So, I always liked that. I felt like that gave the Elseworlds stories, like, some sort of base.
So, yes, that gets a big 4 from me.
Which means we should read it, people.
Let's go back and get the series. The first, I don't know, 25 or so issues was Huntress and Power Girl of Earth 2.
Which at first I was like, this doesn't make sense. But then when I realized, and I read Earth 2, and I realized that it was the Supergirl and the Robin of Earth 2 that came to Prime Earth and became Huntress and Power Girl. It made them more interesting characters. So, what's our next title, Phil?
Well, we will switch sections here, and this portion is brought to you by the Newcastle Crew and Dangerous Habits podcast, which I hope come back, because I hope the Constantine TV show comes back.
When was it? In May? May we'll hear Constantine's been renewed?
Supposedly, yeah. I guess that's when NBC does all their upfronts and stuff. And
I think they should. I mean, they should.
Hopefully, no. Yeah, they haven't said anything, so hopefully no news is good news. So
take a gamble on it. Maybe do just a restructure. Do it like a 13 episode season 1 arc, 13 episode season 2, or a back half of season 2 kind of thing.
Plus, I don't even care if NBC brings it back, but if they don't bring it back, someone pick it up. Like
they talked about with Sci-Fi, taking it, making it a little darker, and calling it Hellblazer. I thought that would be a cool idea. Or something,
Oh, yeah.
Or even just, like, the new comic books and call it Constantine, the Hellblazer.
Yeah!
So, something to pull it all together.
So, this was the last issue, as Tyler said. This is the last issue to after Conversions when they rebooted as John Constantine Hellblazer.
Which is a pretty sweet title.
Yeah, it's Constantine bringing the Earth 2 version of his family over from Earth 2, since Darkseid was trying to take the whole planet. But he had to sacrifice his Earth 2 self, and the Earth 2 family's none too happy about that.
Yeah, Constantine won't sacrifice himself, but he'll sacrifice his alternate self.
Well, he also had to he sacrificed a couple. He had Darkseid started chasing them through the portal, so he had to sacrifice a couple, I don't know, dozen people to save millions.
Well, we will see, John Constantine.
Yeah, but then he cast a big spell that made Darkseid think our universe was already destroyed. So.
Yeah, if he could pull that off, that's really actually sweet. Why hasn't he done something like that before?
Yeah, but where does the issue end? Constantine in a bar.
Where does it always end? Constantine in a bar, or in a ditch. I might.
But I'll give that one a 5 because I'm feeling the Constantine love lately.
That's cool. I think the book started a little rough, this, but I think I kind of gave it a second try after reading more of Justice League Dark.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like I said, I'm excited to see where they go with Constantine Hellblazer. I'm hoping it's kind of a nice little pairing of what they did in Hellblazer and what they've kind of done in Constantine.
Yeah. Alright, so our next 2 issues were brought to you by Channel 52, the DC podcast, hosted by Lilith, Tyler, and Charlie.
All your DC wants, news, and Convergence updates.
and this show also, World's Finest.
Yep.
If you subscribe to Channel 52, you get this show also.
Which is a smart thing to do, I'm just going to say.
That's right. Alright, well, once again, the first issue is Green Lantern Corps number 40, the last issue, because of Convergence. Because I believe that they're not bringing this back, but they're bringing back Green Lantern, the Lost Army or something.
Yeah, and Hal Jordan's new costume's like a hoodie and gloves, I don't know.
What?
So, have you seen the picture of his new outfit?
Yeah. The last issue of Green Lantern, he's... The Corps has a bad rap in the universe now, so Hal Jordan, since he was leading the Corps, is trying to make everyone think everything was his fault, so... He left his ring behind, and now he has, like, some weird, like, gauntlet with it's connected to a backpack that, like, simulates a power ring or something.
I'm just like, wow. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, so he's going to be, like, Universal Outlaw #1 in Green Lantern, and then instead of Green Lantern Corps, they're going to have Green Lantern, the Lost Army. That's like John Stewart, and a bunch of them are going to be lost somewhere. I don't know.
Here we go. So how was the book, Phil?
Well, it was a little extra sized. It was pretty good. I'll give this one another 4. Basically, John Stewart saves another planet. He saves a planet from the bomb that he couldn't save years ago. Remember, he couldn't save that one planet from being blown.
And that's what stayed with him.
Yeah. He's basically able to disarm the bomb and basically able to use the he uses like Star Sapphire power.
Which is actually really cool, if you think about it.
Yeah, because we see like the original... I don't know if I guess they're rewriting now, because once again, this is the new 52, but like the first 3 pages were the flashback to when he couldn't stop the first bomb. And his wife, who's now deceased, was there, Katma Tui.
Good job.
So I don't know if they're rewriting this so like she died in the bomb blast now instead of by Star Sapphire's hand.
Now here's my question. Does it matter?
Yeah, it's true. They rewrote stuff, and now who knows how stuff's going to come out after Convergence anyway.
That's my thing. I'm just like, man, this is so cool. But will it matter after Convergence?
That's the thing. DC like reboots everything like every 10 to 15 years. This time it's been what, 4 years? 4.
But it's so weird because we're gonna get all these books like that are good, like the 25 core books, like for example, Action Comics, and it's gonna continue. Like you're gonna have issue 41, but it's just gonna no longer have the New 52 title on it. So I'm like, it's not like a hard reboot. It's like a soft reboot that's still continuing. So I'm just kind of like, I don't know. I'm interested to see how all this plays out.
All right, can we get into Action Comic? Well, all the Superman titles. I should have did this before, but did you see this? They're saying the storyline when they come back from Convergence is called Truth.
I heard that,
and they said it said something about a big secret being revealed, and like one of the covers I saw was like him with like. You could see his suit underneath, his Superman suit underneath, because all his clothes were like all in tatters and stuff.
Yeah, I saw that. It's gonna have the John Romita Jr. art.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're like his status quo is gonna change. Like there's something big for Superman, something big for Batman.
So is Superman, or is the whole world gonna find out his identity or something?
You know what? If they did that, that'd be kind of cool, just to see where you could take that. Because in the last issue, I mean, he exposed himself to Jimmy. So, I don't know, like, I don't want to keep talking about Convergence stuff, but they showed this picture of him in his new suit where he looks like he's back to wearing a t-shirt and jeans in Action Comics. And I'm like, didn't we just get a new suit at the end of issue 38? We haven't even had issue 39 yet?
I know, that's what I'm saying. You know, he changed costumes in issue 38, and then you know, he'll have it for 2 or 3 months, and then Convergence, and then back to...
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, but I don't care if they reveal his identity, but I hate when they do that, and then like 6 months to a year later, like, you know, he'll find a way to wipe the world's memory or something.
Yeah. I mean, think about how in the comics they killed Barry Allen, and he stayed dead. Like, they legitimately killed him, and he stayed dead for, 15, 20 years?
Barry Allen.
Because Infinite Crisis was, 85?
Yeah.
84? No, it was 85, I think, 84.
It was a little...
Right,
I think it was over 20 years, I think.
Because he didn't come back till Jeff Johns and Run and that. See, Rebirth hit in 2006 or 7?
I thought it was later than.
I think it was 7.
Yeah, it was something like that. So it was a little over 20 years.
So yeah, that makes sense. So, all right. So what's our next book?
All right, Futures End 45.
Which is a series I can't wait to come out and trade. I heard the first one's out. I just gotta go find it.
I'll give this one a 4. At the beginning, we see Frankenstein, who we haven't seen for a while. He finally dies from his wounds. And then, of course, we flash to New York, where everyone's been fighting Brainiac for the last, month. And, well, was it last issue or the issue before? I don't think I said, you know how they defeated Brainiac? They shrunk him down.
Which is really cool.
Gave him a taste of his own medicine.
Shrunk him down and then squashed him like a bug.
No, I think they shrunk him and bottled him up, gave him a taste of his own medicine.
That would be really awesome, too.
But then we see, I guess Brother Eye had to take control of basically everything to defeat Brainiac, and then when Batman and Mr. Terrific tell him to tell Brother Eye to give up control, he says no.
That's interesting.
Yes. And then Brother Eye has a way of, I guess, infecting people with technology and making them his slaves, so... The last page, we see Batman Beyond face-to-face with some of Brother Eye's drones.
I love Batman Beyond. I can't... I just do. I've been rewatching the show, and I can't wait for the... I've been reading 2.0, and I'm going to definitely jump on the title when it's released.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, there's a new Batman Beyond after Convergence.
Which is cool because it's going to take place in continuity, but in the future. So it is going to be part of... Because he hasn't been part of until... In the New 52, he didn't exist until Future's End.
Yeah, it was kind of hard because, he was from the animated continuity, and that was different than the comic books. And
so he became, part of everything now. I mean, they had a great series. Batman Beyond was called 2.0, which took place after the animated series. It jumped a year into the future, and it just continued his story. So, all right, moving on up, getting to the good book.
All right, well, I have 2 in this last part, but it's the Batman books, and of course, this portion, as always, is brought to you by Before the Bat, the Gotham podcast, with me, Tyler, and Kelly.
And I'm gonna take the lead on this one, Phil. This week, out of all my pulls, Batman Eternal was the one that I got, and you've heard here, Phil and I have talked about this book, how sometimes you get a great issue, sometimes you just have a filler, and I think that's part of the weekly issue, but I really like this issue. I'll give it a 4.5.
Ooh.
And I'll say I loved it from the beginning because it starts off where you have all the Bat family. So we're talking Red Hood, Batgirl, Bluebird, and Alfred's daughter all fighting, and Red Robin all fighting. You have Bane, Mr. Freeze, all the Rogues, they're just fighting, and Hush is in the Batcave, and he takes over and he shuts down all their equipment that they're wearing. So some of them can't see, and they're struggling. I mean, it's a very action-packed, but then you have Alfred's daughter get away, and she gets to a remote location, and you see Hush in the Batcave working, and then Alfred just gets a nice shot on Hush and just knocks him out. I love seeing Alfred kick butt. So it was...
That's right.
it was just like, man, like it was straight up all action. Like Batman came in towards the end, but the majority of it was just this action struggle for the Bat family, struggling with not having their equipment working.
See, I'll give it a 4 just because, I mean, I like the series, but some of the issues, there's not enough Batman for me.
Yeah. It's going to be one of those going to be always weird to talk about because it starts off so strong, and I feel like I have no idea where the story's gone or where it's going. It's just this... Huh? It's just crazy because I'm like, wait, didn't we start... Like, you open that book to the first page, and you're like, holy crap. And I don't want to spoil what it is for anyone who hasn't read it, but if you haven't read it by now...
But the cover will give you a clue.
But I mean, whatever, I won't tell them. We haven't told them already. You open that cover, and it's Bruce, Batman, strapped to the bat signal with his mask off with a bloody face. I mean, that right there just jumps and gets you. And I'm like, when's that coming back?
Alright. And the last one I got was, it's the Detective Comics Endgame number 1.
I thought about getting that. Because isn't that where they brought in the character of Anarchy?
Well, no. Anarchy was introduced in Detective Comics, like the monthly Detective Comics.
Okay.
And they have Lonnie Machin in it, who pre-New 52 was Anarchy, but New 52 he's not Anarchy. Well, unless they're gonna make him now.
Okay.
Because the other week in Detective they revealed there was an Anarchy, like giving the city trouble, but it wasn't him.
Interesting.
But yeah, it's him and a bunch of different teenagers. They run real quickly. They run into like Batwoman and Stephanie Brown.
Spoiler.
But basically, the whole story is the group's trying to. It's happening during Endgame, and with Stephanie Brown's spoilers help, the group and they're trying to free Lonnie's mom from her place of work, which is a strip club.
Yeah, I'm gonna go pick up my mom from the strip club. That's something you want to brag to your friends. You guys, go see my mom at work.
Yeah, everyone sees your mom at work. You know?
That would be horrible. Worst job for a parent. Side note.
Worst job for the kid.
I know. Poor child. No wonder he becomes a supervillain.
So I believe I'll give this one a 4, but I believe they said that is this the group that we're gonna see in We Are Robin?
I think there's gonna be a connection to it. I'm interested to see where the We Are Robin comes from because it's gonna be one of those post-convergent books, but I don't think it's part of the core 25. So it's one of those kind of outlier books.
They're going to play fast and loose with continuity.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Seeing as how most of us can't afford all the books, I don't know if I'm going to get that one. But they are coming up. Or they're replacing the Batman and Robin book with Damian, son of Batman.
Yeah. Here's what we should do, Phil. We're gonna launch us kind of like a Kickstarter page. But basically, it's a donation page just for this podcast, so that you and I can actually buy every issue of DC every month, so we can more thoroughly review everything for the fans.
Oh, people, send us your money. I'll review every comic book on the face of the earth.
I mean, I'll read everything from DC.
The smaller companies, I'll review everything.
I'll read the titles on DC that I'm not really that interested in, but you know what? I will be.
Heck, if you buy my comic books every month, I will do a personal podcast for you.
We will definitely name drop, shout out, tweet out, whatever you need.
You heard it here you heard it here first, folks. This show is not above bribes.
Nope. We want to read, and we need your help doing it.
But no, seriously, listen to us in the coming weeks, because starting next month, we'll be your guides to convergence, because you will need a roadmap.
I'm already dusting off the whiteboard. I don't know if anyone can hear. Even Solomon, he's fussy. He's like, convergence, he just now is getting caught up.
He's like,
every night I'm reading bedtime stories about the New 52 because we watch Batman Beyond. And now he's just getting confused. He doesn't know what it means to converge.
He's like, convergence? I was like, oh, each book takes place in a different era? What? Huh?
Yeah, I was trying to, explain fifth dimensional thinking like Grant Morrison did to him, and he just looked at me like, I'm 2 months old, Dad.
Ah! Alright, anything else on this?
You know what? It's one of those things that's hilarious. I have this huge pull list, and then this week rolls around, it's like, Batman Eternal. I'm like, okay. So, next week, I'll be waiting for you.
Alright, everyone. If you want to, seriously, any questions, any comic book questions for us, you can email me, nightwingpdp@gmail.com, or on Twitter, I'm at nightwingpdp.
And you can find me at jtypatrick on Twitter and at gmail.com.
Alright, well, for World's Finest this week, I am Phil, your Batman.
And I'm Tyler, your Superman.